Ensign late 14c, via Scottish, from Old French ensign mark, symbol, signal. Flag, standard, pennant, from Latin insignia is a junior rank of a commissioned officer in the armed forces of some countries, normally in the infantry or navy. As the junior officer in an infantry regiment was traditionally the carrier of the ensign flag, the rank itself acquired the name. This rank has generally been replaced in army ranks by second lieutenant. Ensigns were generally the lowest-ranking commissioned officer, except where the rank of subaltern itself existed. In Thomas Venn's 1672 Military and Maritime Discipline in 3 books, the duties of ensigns are to include not only carrying the colour but assisting the captain and lieutenant of a company and in their absence, have their authority. Ensign is ensign in French, Fahrkräfte in German, Vijandrig in Dutch, and Kora Angstrom 1/4 Y in Polish, each of which derives from a term for a flag. The Spanish alpha copyright res and Portuguese alfaias is a junior officer rank below lieutenant associated with carrying the flag, and so is often translated as ensign. Unlike the rank in other languages, its etymology has nothing to do with flags. The NATO rank code is OF1. Argentina. In Argentina, the rank of ensign is used by both the Air Force and the Gendarmerie. It is, however, used differently in the two services. The Air Force uses the rank for newly qualified officers, while the Gendarmerie uses ensign ranks as an equivalent for the Army's lieutenant ranks. The other armed forces of Argentina have ranks equivalent to ensign, subtenient in the Army and Guardia Marina in the Navy. In the Army, the most junior sub-lieutenant in a regiment is also the flag carrier. France and Canada. In France of the Ancien Roi copyright Jaime, like in other countries, the ensign was the banner of an infantry regiment. As in other countries, the name began to be used for the officers who carried the ensign. It was renamed sub-lieutenant in the end of the 18th century. The Navy used a rank of ship of the line ensign, which was the first officer rank. It was briefly renamed ship of the line sub-lieutenant in the end of the 18th century, but its original name was soon restored. Nowadays, the rank is still used in the Marine Nationale. Ship of the line ensign is the name of the two lowest officer ranks. Both ranks of ensign use the style lieutenant. French-speaking Canadian naval officers also use the terms of ensign de vaisseau de deuxième classe and de première classe as the French term for acting sub-lieutenant and sub-lieutenant respectively. However, French-Canadian sub-lieutenants use the short form of ensign instead of lieutenant. The rank ensign is also used to refer to second lieutenants in household regiments of the Canadian Army. Austria and Germany, Fahrkräfte, which is a parallel etymology to ensign, containing the corresponding German word stem of flag in it, is a German and an Austrian officer cadet rank. The word Fahrkräfte comes from an older German military title, Fahnenträgerkränziger, and first became a distinct military rank on January 1, 1899. The German Fahrkräfte is a non-commissioned officer promoted from the rank of Verjunker or Sea Cadet. Fahrkräfte is equivalent to Feldwebel, but with additional responsibilities as an officer cadet. If successful, he may be promoted to Oberfahrkräfte or to Oberfahrkräfte Sir C, before being made an officer. The German rank Fahrkräfte should not be translated into English as ensign to avoid the possible misconception that this would be an officer's rank, and the English Navy rank ensign should not be translated as Fahrkräfte, but as Lieutenant Sir C, which is the German equivalent. New Zealand. The Royal New Zealand Navy, unlike the Royal Navy Euro, whose uniforms, insignia, and traditions it inherited created the ensign grade to equal the lowest commissioned RNZAF grade of pilot officer and the New Zealand Army grade of second lieutenant. It ranks above the grade of midshipman. Like the grade of pilot officer, it uses a single thin strip of braid. The fact that the Royal Navy has no real equivalent to the lowest commissioned Royal Air Force and British Army grades was the driving factor behind the RNZN's decision to create the ensign grade, as well as the fact that at the time New Zealand was actively involved with the United States Armed Forces, It also made sense to balance the rank system out with that used by the United States Navy. Norway. The Royal Norwegian Navy, the Norwegian Army and the Royal Norwegian Air Force's equivalent of ensign is fenrik. It was previously referred to as second lieutenant, while the rank of lieutenant was called premier lieutenant. The rank is obtained after attending Befalsskolen for 1 year, from which the candidate emerges as a sergeant, and serving as a sergeant for 3 additional years. The rank is known to have been temporarily given to soldiers with rank equivalent of non-commissioned officers, indicating skills and performance beyond their rank, in contract-based operative service. This is highly uncommon and the rank is reverted after the contract period ends. A fenrik serves as a NATO second lieutenant, but the function of the rank differs drastically from other armies. Although it is an officer rank, it strongly resembles an NCO rank in practice. Fenriks are usually former experienced sergeants without officer education, and usually fill such roles as squad leaders and platoon sergeants. This is due to the lack of an NCO corps in the Norwegian Army. The historical background for this is that Norway's NCO corps was discontinued on July 1, 1975, and the senior NCOs currently serving were given officer ranks. NCOs ranking as oversergeant were given the officer rank of fenrik, NCOs ranking as stabssergeant were given the rank of lieutenant, and, in accordance with Herordningen av 1 January 1977, the most senior of the NCOs ranking as stabssergeant were given the rank of captain. The corresponding ranks for the Royal Norwegian Navy were overkvartermester and flagkvartermester. The corresponding ranks for the Royal Norwegian Air Force were vinsjsergeant and stabssergeant. The rank insignia is worn on the sleeves, on the shoulders of service uniforms or, more recently, on the chest. The chest placement is of newer date, and was introduced with the M2000 uniform, which is worn by both non-commissioned ranks and officers in all branches of the Norwegian defense. Poland, the Polish Army equivalent of ensign is ๊ɛnsən 1/4 Y. In Poland, ensign is not an officer rank, it is an NCO equivalent. Before the 2007 reform, soldiers at the rank of ๊ɛnsən 1/4 Y formed a separate corps above the NCOs. The different ranks are as follows: junior ensign, ensign, senior ensign, senior staff ensign. Romania, the Romanian Navy equivalent of ensign is aspirant. Russia, the present-day Russian Army linguistic equivalent is the non-commissioned officer rank of praposhchik, and the Russian Navy equivalent is michman. Slovakia, in the armed forces of the Slovak Republic equivalent is prapora AK. United Kingdom, until 1871, when it was replaced by second lieutenant, ensign was the lowest rank of commissioned officer in infantry regiments of the British Army. It was the duty of officers of this rank to carry the colours of the regiment. In the 16th century, ensign was corrupted into ancient, and was used in the two senses of a banner and the bearer of the banner. Today, the term ensign is still used by the Foot Guards regiments, for instance during the ceremony of trooping the colour. The equivalent cavalry rank was cornet, also being derived from the name of a banner. United States. The ranks of ensign and cornet were abolished in the U.S. Army in the Army Organization Act of 1815. In the United States Navy, the rank of ensign superseded past midshipman in 1862. Ensign is the junior commissioned officer rank in the United States Navy, the United States Coast Guard, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Commissioned Officer Corps, and the PHS Commissioned Corps. This rank is also used in the U.S. Maritime Service and the U.S. Naval Sea Cadet Corps. Ensign ranks below lieutenant junior grade, and it is equivalent to a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army, the Marine Corps, and the Air Force. Depending upon the warfare community, an ensign may go directly to a warship after being commissioned to serve as a division officer, or he or she may serve up 1 to 2 years of specialty training before reporting to a combat unit. Ensigns who become division officers are responsible for leading a group of petty officers and enlisted men in one of the ship's divisions while at the same time receiving on-the-job training in leadership, naval systems, programs, and policies from higher-ranking officers and from enlisted men and women. Navy and Coast Guard ensigns wear collar insignia of a single gold bar and because of this share the nickname butterbars with Army, Air Force, and Marine Corps second lieutenants, who wear the same insignia. Within the U.S. Public Health Service, those wearing the rank of ensign are part of a commissioned officer student training and extern program, either junior, for those with more than a year remaining of education in a commissionable degree, or senior, for those within 1 year of graduating with a commissionable degree. Some officers may hold a permanent rank of ensign based on their experience and education, but then can hold the temporary rank of lieutenant, junior grade. Popular culture, ensign is used as the most junior officer rank throughout the Star Trek universe. See also, U.S. Navy officer rank insignia, comparative military ranks, sub-lieutenant, signifer, vexillarius, references. Division Officers Guide. James Stavridis and Robert Girier. Naval Institute Press, 2004. ISBN 1-59114-799-9. External links, the definition of ensigns http, www.blackwellsandu.co.uk/history2.htm/chap.i